What are some examples of these adverse childhood experiences?
There are about 10,
Mhm.
but majorly they are categorized as three major ones,
Okay.
which one of it is abuse. Brain development requires that a child is free of fear and they feel safe.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Psychologist West Kenya. My name is Helen, and today we have with us a fantastic guest on set. She's somebody who is keen on the area of mental health, and we have her to tell us today about adverse childhood experiences. At this point, I want to welcome you, Dr. Molly Muiga. Karibu sana.
Asante.
I'm happy to have you on board.
Thank you.
Tell us more about yourself.
Thank you, Madam Helen. I appreciate to be in this platform because I'm delighted to discuss issues mental health. And for myself, I'm a clinical psychologist by profession. I am also a lecturer. I advance in the area of mental health and also medical science. And I have a keen interest in adverse childhood experiences and the mental health in general. And I'm glad to be here.
Okay. I'm glad to know you and to know more about yourself. And you're doing a lot of work, a lot of good work. So, what do you mean when you mention about adverse childhood experiences?
Advanced childhood experiences, it's any traumatic experience or an experience a child below 18 years undergoes that has potential for harm or trauma. And with that, when a child is exposed to such kind of events, there is disruption into their safety, personal safety, the way they trust people, and even the way they form attachments with
Okay.
adults and caregivers.
Okay. So, this happens at what, when you say child, what do we mean by child? At what age or at what point in their lives?
Okay, no different countries will define children with different ages, but for in this context, we discuss child as somebody below 18 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all the way from primary school, high school, actually, at that up to high school, maybe a bit of campus.
Yes, a bit of campus because
Okay.
some go to campus at 17 years.
Okay. So at this time, most children are under the care of their guardian or their parents.
Yeah,
So it's possible for somebody to go through these situations when they're under the care of their parents or the guardians.
definitely. Because if somebody is below 18 years, like in Kenyan context, we say that that is a minor. So they should be taken care by an adult who is over 18 years old. And therefore, these are human beings or children who are supposed to be protected and to be taken care of by adults. And therefore, when we are talking about adverse childhood experiences, these experiences come to in contact with these children because either the society has failed somewhere or the caregiver or the environment the children are living in, it's not safe for their development.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So environment, society, all those come into play.
Yes.
Okay. What are some examples of these adverse childhood experiences?
There are about 10, but majorly they are categorized as three major ones,
Okay.
which one of it is abuse.
Abuse.
Abuse of a child
Okay.
that is intentionally harming a child, and it could be either physical, so food punishment, beating a child, or mistreating the child. Could be emotional, like humiliating a child, and then we can also have the next category of negligence,
Okay.
where you don't take care of the child, failure to take care of the child's needs, which can be emotional or physical. When we talk about physical needs, it's food, clothes, and shelter.
Okay.
And when we are talking about emotional needs, a child needs to feel safe. A child needs to live in an environment that they feel loved, appreciated, and taken care of, and also a very predictable kind of environment.
They pause you there. So we're saying we have one abuse.
Yes.
Then secondly, now we have neglect.
Neglect.
Yes.
And the third category is usually dysfunctional families.
Dysfunctional family.
Yes, and dysfunctional families we categorize any events in those families where we might have a parent who abuses substances, be the alcoholic or they use any substance. If caregivers or parents of these children are incarcerated, those who are put in prison. If caregivers or the guardians of those children suffer any mental illness, or if they are violent, there is domestic violence, and lastly, if there is also divorce and separation or loss of our parents.
And as I hear you mention these things, it sounds like almost what we are seeing a lot happening in today's society.
Sure.
So a lot of what you've talked about in the family setup seems to be happening. We have many parents who are involved in abuse of substances, also on an extreme end. We have this case of divorce and separation happening very frequently in families nowadays. You mentioned, so we have abuse, neglect, family dysfunction. Any other?
No, yeah, under those three major categories, because there are 10 which are globally researched. Yes.
So those three are the major categories.
Yes, but everything else now fits under those three.
Okay.
Yes.
And this can be happening, imagining, either within the family or the home context, equally in society. Many of the children are in school. So it could be either within the home or family, or even the community or neighborhood, or even also at school.
Yes, definitely, because when we look at mental health for children, we always consider multiple settings. And because this child were those before school going ages, those ones were like comfortably consider family and the immediate society. But when it goes to a child who is now a school going child, then we include the school setup. So these abuses and adverse effects we are saying that they can happen within the family context or within the societies, within schools, everywhere a child is involved or is available, then anything can happen that those children are not taken care of.
Okay. Now, I want you to help us understand what is the danger with a child going through these adverse experiences. What happens to this child? Maybe they have been neglected, they have been abused. When now they become an adult, what happens to them? How does this play out in their adult life?
Well, that is one of the things that really made me appreciate your invite, because as you have said, these are things that have been happening in our society and in our families, but people don't know the impact of these adverse childhood experiences. And at this age of below 18 years, this is where brain development happens. And even the physical growth, as a child is born like maybe 2 kgs or 2.5, and by the time they are at 18 years, maybe they are 40, 50 kgs. That means they are developing and they're also growing at the same time. So when they experience this kind of adverse childhood experiences, it interferes with their brain development.
Wow.
A healthy brain development requires that a child is free of fear and they feel safe. So when you remove safety in the development of a child, then you interfere with their brain development, because the brain develops to develop a circuit and neural connections that helps the person to become the adult you are looking forward to have. And the brain is very important to us because it's actually what makes a person. It will help you think, feel, behave. So the moment the child faces these adverse childhood experiences, it interferes with the brain development.
And maybe I can come in there, Modi.
Yes.
And I'm hearing that we can actually give birth to a healthy child.
Yes.
But after giving birth, what now goes on after that is actually very critical towards now their brain development and growth.
Excellent.
Okay.
You have said exactly well, because many people were born with very healthy brains, but whatever happened below 18 years is what changed them to who we can see them now. And it's not a good thing. And that's why I would urge societies to really protect children from adverse childhood experiences.
And in the early years of life, When the children are still very young, infant stages, there's a lot of keenness on feeding and nutrition, and the clinic appointments where the parent will go with the cards. The keenness is on the feeding, the nutrition, the kgs that are being gained, those milestones, developments, what the parents are keen on. But now I'm hearing that beyond the keen attention on the milestones in terms of kilograms, in terms of vaccines, there's more that our parents should actually be keen on in terms of the early childhood experiences for the child.
Yes,
Yes.
excellent. Because a parent or a guardian should also be very keen on the intellectual capacities of a child. You also look at social development of a child, such that the child is not just adding weight and being able to walk, but how are they interacting with other people? How are they able to interact with the environment they are in? And that is something that the parents and guardian do not pay attention to. They, as you have said, majority of us will just go say, oh, the child has added weight, now is doing well. So they pay attention to ensure that the child eats. And sometimes even the feeding methods we use, especially in African setup, they are crude because we believe that a child must eat for them to grow. So for children who may be not having very good appetite, they are not maybe morning babies, those who don't like breakfast. So the children are subjected to very harsh punishments that which contribute to physical abuse. It is an advanced childhood experience.
Okay. And the aspect of safety. You mentioned that for children to develop well, also for their brains, they have to have safety. How does that safety look like? What is safety in the for a child?
Safety for a child is stability.
Okay.
That a child needs to know that one, the parents is here and they are taking care of them for the best interest of them. So the moment you demonstrate to a child that they should fear, they are feeling your presence, they are feeling your absence, they are feeling whatever you introduce fear or threat to a child, then the safety is not there. And when you look at all those categories we have talked about in terms of advanced childhood experience, they have one common denominator, which is fear and threat.
Wow.
So
Fear and threat.
Fear and threat. And you see, like African, we are like, a child should fear you.
Yes.
That feeling, we don't know how much.
Fear is almost like the core of something which is driven in us from an early age.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so when you create fear, it interferes with the brain development of a child.
Wow.
So the child is always like hyper vigilant or even hyper activated because of the fear response, such that when they're in this environment or when they are with this guardian or when this parent is coming, the child is always fearful. And so they are always on fight and fright mode, which is not good for brain development.
Where do we draw the line between the healthy, wholesome child development and even respect, let's say that in the African culture context, because we now being an abusive kind of a parenting institution? Where do we draw the line on that?
Yeah, I know it is something that is quite difficult for Africans, and this is now what we call intergenerational trauma, because most African countries, they were colonized, and to put them into submission or to force them into submission, there were crude methods of harsh punishment that were used. And so the parents adopted that as a way of bringing people into submission. So they parent using the same science, which was actually not based on parenting skills. It was actually slavery and punishments. So because they incorporated that, they always think you have to be very harsh on your child to be respected. But that is not respect. That is fear. The child fears you. That's why they do what they do. But it's not respect. What is respect? Respect is just doing the right thing, the right time, just because you honor that person. You just love them. And the best for parents, I would say, the child should love you in a way they would not want to disrespect you or to do something that they know it will not anger well with you. That will be the best kind of a balance.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, coming to now the adulthood situation, when somebody has gone through the ACEs, let me summarize it that way, ACEs earlier on in their life, how do they present or behave, or how does that affect them in their adult life?
Ah, excellent. That is a very good question because I have had many adults saying that we were beaten, we even slept outside, we were even thrown out every time. My parent would come, maybe drunk or something, and now here we are and we turned out well.
Yes.
But really, did they turn out well? I don't think so because some of the presentation of adverse childhood experiences in adults is relationship difficulties, such that you find people are not able to trust others. They are not able to trust the environment. They are always curious and they always detect threat, even where there is no threat.
Because in the first place, when you are growing and you are being shaped in the family, because there was no safety instilled in you.
Exactly.
So you grow up the sense of fear perpetually throughout in your life.
Yes, you are hyper vigilant.
Okay.
You are always thinking that there is something you are always looking for a threat. So the system is always charged towards identifying threats, and that makes people not even trust even in the normal relationships. So the other way is that people are also demonstrate with mental health disorders. It has been researched and proven the people who have high ACE scores have a lot of, there is increased probability and vulnerability towards mental health disorders like depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorders. So they might present with mental disorders. They would also present with non-communicable diseases, physical diseases like diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases or heart diseases. So there is a lot of presentation that comes with people who suffered ACE when they were children.
So it means that, because currently we are seeing an increase in mental health disorders in our population, could it be that there was a place where for a generation, many people seem to have gone through the adverse childhood experiences, and now what we are seeing in adulthood is a manifestation of that coming out? Yeah, could that be the case?
Probability is high, and that is my interest in terms of research because I am interested into now looking at the prevalence of ACE, especially in adults, because people, we are, every time we are dealing with very high levels of mental health issues, like 54% depression, CD 44% suicidal anxiety, and all those kind of things as you look at Kenyan statistics and even globally. But people are not really able to pick where these have come from. But scientifically, it has been proved if somebody has experienced ACEs and they were not treated in terms they were not supported to process that, then they are likely to they have increased chances of developing mental health disorders.
Okay. So how does somebody what does somebody do in case I look back and I see, okay, I think in my life I went through what you've named me. I went through abuse, I went through neglect, my family was dysfunctional, and I want to have a healthy, productive life going forward. What do I do?
That would be the best step first of all, to be aware and to acknowledge that you actually had an experience which is adverse childhood experience. When you are aware of that, then you need to look for help to towards healing. You need to heal from that so that now your system is not always activated. And how you can go through that is looking for therapy session. You can visit a hospital near you. You can visit this organization for psychologists and counselors, and they can help you go through that. It is very important. And also, spirituality and religion comes in very handy because some people may never be able to interact with the psychologist, maybe due to financial or even the distribution of mental health professionals, especially in Kenya. They are more in urban areas than they are in rural areas. And now the economic part of it, so they can still being aware that I underwent this, then you keep on cross-checking with yourself such that you don't propagate the same ACE to children.
So if I'm not aware, and if I do not seek help, I'm likely to pass the same pattern to my children.
Yes, and that's what we call intergenerational
trauma.
trauma.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I've learned a lot as well.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on board. I'm looking forward to the next session.
Asante sana.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. That is it for today. I hope you have been able to learn something about adverse childhood experiences. See you next time.